So we finally made it to the end. I commend you for making it this far. You must be either a non-FSU fan or you've become so desensitized from the last few years that you've actually begun to like this kind of thing. Now, in the first 2 videos in this series, we looked at different ways that FSU gave up sacks in the first half of the 2019 season. 28.5% of the time, those sacks could be attributed to a lack of communication. We talked a fair amount about what causes those in general, but if a guy isn't touched on his way to the quarterback, you can figure that someone wasn't on the right page. The second and biggest category was due to failure of individual linemen. This can be easily addressed as well. Just watch out for the guy helplessly turned around as he watches his quarterback get acquainted with an opposing defensive lineman. Both of those categories have something in common. They're both the lineman's fault. This video is looking at everything else. 33% of the sacks and QB pressures could be attributed to someone other than the lineman. In rare cases, this was on a wide receiver, but more often than not, the quarterback has no one to blame but himself. Now this play is a great illustration of what I'm talking about when I say that you can't exactly blame the O-line for all the team's problems. ULM brings 3 on a 2nd and long, and James Blackman tries to run out the entire first quarter in the backfield. Unfortunately for him, ULM gets wind of this and cuts the play short. Contrary to the popular narrative, both quarterbacks struggled about equally in this category. Of the plays I collected, I blame 3 of them on Blackman, and 3 I saddle on Hornibrook. There's almost the exact same situation we saw from the last play, where Hornibrook takes entirely too long in the pocket and gives this 3-man rush ample time to get to him in the backfield. If this play wasn't so tragic situationally, it would be kind of funny. The line does a good job of setting the pocket, and the blitzing linebacker here completely eats it while passing the line of scrimmage. Now to be fair to Blackman here, there's a lot going on, but you have to have some awareness that you're moving up into a defender. Now don't get me wrong here, the line doesn't do a great job on this play, and I could totally blame them, but I feel Hornibrook is more at fault here. This nose guard is coming on a stunt all the way around the line of scrimmage, and the defensive end is able to split a double team. But a little pocket presence would go a long way here. Hornibrook rolls directly into that pressure, and if he does what he's supposed to do, there's no way that nose guard would have been able to get to him in time. This is actually a good blitz by this Louisville linebacker here. FSU is in a full slide protect, meaning that these linemen all slide to the top of the screen. This picks up the initial slant by the Louisville defensive line, and Kalen LeBourne does a decent job of picking up this blitzing corner. After all the blocking assignments are cleared up, this linebacker comes hard on a delayed blitz. At the end of the day, things just worked out for Louisville here, but a quicker trigger would certainly have helped in this situation. In this play, NC State brings pressure from the short side of the field. This isn't inherently picked up. Maybe LeBourne should have seen this, but he didn't. However, all should not be lost here. Most young quarterbacks are taught to replace blitzing players with the ball. Most playbooks have built-in hot routes for this situation. A hot route could be a short slant or a hitch when the person in front of them takes off for the backfield. The wide receiver here doesn't seem to run any sort of hot route. He just continues on his deep post. Maybe the lack of a hot route is why Hornibrook gets held up here, or maybe he just got himself confused with Lamar Jackson and thought his feet could bail him out. Either way, it's not a great look. Now this is an interesting one. At first glance, it seems that it's another instance of Hornibrook holding on to the ball too long on a short passing play. But let's take a look at what Hornibrook was looking at. This receiver here doesn't seem to know what the play is supposed to be. While the other receivers are running short slants, he decides to block? I have no explanation for this other than him having no idea what's going on. I can't blame Hornibrook. I would have been confused too if my receiver was blocking instead of out on a route. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I'm relieved we've made it to the end here. There's been a lot of bad line play and some bad quarterback play over the last 3 videos. At the end of the day, most of the problems that the line faces are fixable. There's a lot of optimism to be had, at least in the passing game. The story might be different when and if we take a look at running plays, but overall the players weren't physically outmatched, other than the occasional slow feet. FSU is bringing in solid players, and Alex Atkins, the new O-line coach, has shown some great promise in his limited stint in Tallahassee. Hopefully with a little time and patience, quarterbacks can begin to feel safe wearing garnet and gold. Thanks for joining me on this 3-part series. If you want links to the other 2 parts, they're in the description below. Make sure to like and subscribe to this video and check us out over on Tomahawk Nation, where we've got more great content. Thanks.